John Wick is an action movie franchise spawning 5 films and a TV show, with more projects confirmed on the way. Now, the reason why this franchise has become so iconic in the past 10 years is not only because of the story building and the lovely Keanu Reeves gracing the screen, but also because of the action. Without a doubt, the John Wick movies have changed the modern action movie genre, moving away from the shaky cam style that was made popular after The Bourne Identity. Instead, it embraced long takes that showcase physical prowess, requiring actors to undergo strict, real-world training. If you don't know this already, I consider myself to be one of the biggest John Wick fans out there. I've rewatched these movies more times than I can count. I have always been invested in the lore of the world of John Wick, and of course the fight scenes, which is what I'm here to talk about today. So what's up everyone, it's Joe here. I hope you're all having a great day, and welcome to my first ever tier list video. To celebrate the 3rd anniversary of John Wick Chapter 4, I will be ranking every John Wick fight scene in the franchise. Now this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm pretty excited to get into it. If you enjoyed this tier list video and you want to see more content like this, please consider liking the video and hitting that subscribe button. Let's get to 600 subscribers, I always appreciate the support. Before we begin, let's go over the rules. For this tier list, I will go through the movies by release order, and I will rank only fight scenes featuring John Wick himself. That means no fight scenes from Ballerina and the Continental miniseries. If you guys want me to make another video ranking those fight scenes as well, leave a comment below. I will be ranking these fights based on how intense they are and their rewatchability. I would also like to stress the fact that all of this is just my opinion. So if you disagree with anything, that is completely fine. Feel free to leave a comment about it. Just please be respectful. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, for this tier list, let's look at the rankings that we're going to have. So for S tier, we have I'm Thinking I'm Back, which is obviously going to be the best of the best. For A, we have Yeah, which is pretty badass fight scene. For B, we have Rules. And for C, we have Consequences. We have Rules and Consequences. And for D, we have Deconsecrated. And for F, we have Excommunicado, which... should I make that E tier? E for Excommunicado? I don't know. I tried doing some fancy wordplay from the movies as these tiers, so I thought it came out pretty good. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Kicking off this tier list, we have the home invasion fight scene. Now I really like this fight scene. The way it builds up the suspense with John prepping for battle, leaving behind the man who loved and was loved by his late wife Helen, and choosing to embrace the Baba Yaga, the last thing many men see. All this added with Vigo singing about the Baba Yaga while the assassins sneak into John's house just gives me chills every time, as John waits in the shadows, waiting to go on his hunt on his home turf. The way John maneuvers around his house while picking off the assassins one by one is just so cool to watch. And it's a great introductory fight scene to show what Wick can do and why he's called the Baba Yaga. Okay, for the home invasion fight scene, I am feeling an A tier. I just think it's a cool introductory sequence to John Wick's character, so yeah, I'm just gonna keep it on an A tier. The Red Circle Shootout is probably one of, if not the most iconic fight scene from the John Wick franchise. This was the fight scene that cemented Wick as the badass he is. It's so awesome to see Wick just plow through these goons while hunting for Yosef. Okay, Red Circle fight scene, that is gonna have to go in S tier. I mean, that is just an iconic fight scene in the whole franchise, and I especially love the part when he first enters that one room. As soon as the beat drops on that song and he fires those 3 shots from his gun, like it matches with the beat of the song. It's just absolute cinema right there. Something I really appreciate about the Wick movies is that John doesn't always finish a fight with ease. Whether he wins or not, he does struggle with some opponents. Case in point, his fight with Ms. Perkins. I can also appreciate the comedic elements of this fight, with it cutting to the silence of Sharon ringing the phone. Okay, John Wick versus Perkins. I'm feeling... I'm gonna go with C tier for that one. I mean, it's short, it's nothing crazy. This definitely isn't a bad fight. It's just like, you know, it's like... in terms of like the whole movie is probably like the weakest fight out of all of them, but again, like I said, it's not a bad fight. I still like enjoy it. I enjoy like the funny bits it has in it, but I'm just gonna keep it at C tiers. Like, it's nothing too crazy, you know. One thing that each Wick movie has that I absolutely love is when there's a fight scene that has no music in it. This fight is what I think I look like when I have a Nerf battle with my friends in my backyard. I just love that you get to hear the echoes of the shots fired from all the pistols and John's rifle. Okay, the church shootout. Now this is a hard one for me because I like the fight a lot, but I don't like how short it is. But John Wick looks really cool in that fight. I'm stuck between A and B right now. I'm gonna go with B just because I don't like how short it is, But again, it's a really cool fight. I like the way that John's like handling his weapons in that fight. It's just really cool. I like to think of this fight scene as a Matrix rematch between Neo and an agent, given that Kirill is played by Daniel Bernhardt, who also played an agent in The Matrix Reloaded. So it's pretty cool to see him duke it out with Neo again. Okay, the warehouse fight scene. I'm gonna go B tier. It's just good. I mean, we got some iconic music in there, and yeah, that's it. It's just good. What I like about this fight scene is that it shows how John can be deadly with a gun and a car at the same time. Now, I'll admit this definitely isn't the most exciting car chase I've seen in a movie, but that doesn't mean I think it's bad. John does some pretty cool maneuvers in the car, my favorite being when he does a little drive-by to this one dude who tries to take cover from him. Okay, for the dock shootout, I'm gonna go C tier. Like I said before, not the most exciting car chase I've seen, but it's pretty cool to see John use a car and a gun at the same time, so definitely not a bad fight. I love fights in the rain. Something about the rain always makes a fight more dramatic, and even though I think the rain does help this fight a little bit, the fight itself still feels kind of weak, especially compared to what the rest of the movie gave us. Overall, it kind of feels like John Wick just beating on an old man, and to this day, I'm still confused how that stab to the shoulder ended up killing Vigo. Maybe he bled out from that? I don't know. Okay, as for John Wick versus Vigo, I'm gonna have to go D tier. I mean, I take back what I said about the hotel fight. This fight right here, the John Wick versus Vigo, this is probably the most underwhelming fight in the movie. I mean, as much as I love fights in the rain, this one feels definitely underwhelming, and for our last fight in the movie, it just didn't really hit for me. And I don't know how Vigo died from just a knife in the shoulder, so I'm sticking with D tier for this one. Okay, but that is John Wick Chapter 1 completed. Now on to John Wick Chapter 2. Moving on to John Wick Chapter 2, this opening scene is more of a chase than an actual fight, but I'm still counting it. Now, there's nothing really extremely special about this scene. It's just short and sweet, and it serves its purpose as an opening scene without showing the face of the title character. Honestly, I was debating even adding this, like, fight in the tier list. I mean, it's not really a fight, he's just chasing a guy, but I guess I'll count it since it's still an action scene. But it's cool that the movie opens up with an action scene, and I guess I'm gonna go D tier. I'm gonna stick with D tier for this one because there's not really a fight that happens, and I mean, there's a cool motorcycle stunt, I like that a lot, but other than that, it's just him chasing a guy, and it's just serving as an opening scene, so it's nothing too crazy. And yeah, I'm gonna stick with D tier just because there's no fight that's happening, you know? What I really like about this fight is that John isn't trying to kill anyone in this fight. And let's be honest, if he wanted to kill everyone in that warehouse, he definitely could have. He had a gun on him the whole time, but only pulled it out when a big dude started pressing him. That part of the fight reminds me when Indiana Jones shot that one dude with the sword in Raiders of the Lost Ark. But for the rest of that fight, all he needed was his car and his hands. Okay, the Chapter 2 warehouse fight scene, I am putting that at an A tier because I love the way he's drifting around the warehouse even though it's like damaged still, and the way he's drifting around in the car is just so cool, and the fight after he's knocked out of the car is like just as good, and I love that he's like not trying to kill anyone because it's for the context of the scene, and it works out really well. So yeah, I'm sticking with A tier for this one. And again, some really cool stunt work in there, so yeah, props to them. That was a really cool fight scene to open up the movie with. Once again, we get another club fight scene, starting with a great standoff shot with John and Cassian, and this scene would be the beginning of the Kevlar suits trend in these movies. The way these movies integrate the use of armor for their characters is honestly so cool. Now, I don't think this club fight scene is better than the Red Circle one, mainly due to how short it is, but it is far from bad. I love the unbroken shots in this fight, and the way John flicks away his mag when he's reloading is just incredible. Okay, the coronation fight scene. I'm gonna go with A tier for this one, and like I said before, I don't think it's better than the Red Circle Club fight scene. It's still a really cool fight scene though. I love the standoff between John and Cassian at the beginning, and I love the one shots of John just going crazy with his Glock, and it is just so cool. This shootout is incredible. I love the way John goes from Glock to rifle to shotgun and back to Glock throughout the whole fight. My only complaint would probably be the lighting. I get that it's in a series of catacombs, so it's obviously going to be pretty dark, but that's my only minor complaint. Okay, the catacombs fight, that's another A right there, no contest. I mean, yeah, I do think it's just a tad bit dark for me, but other than that, the shootout is just great. I just love the way he just plows through all the soldiers there. So honestly, great job, great choreography. These movies do a great job of keeping the action going by just throwing John Wick into another fight as soon as one ends. And once again, this movie shows that no matter how good an assassin John Wick is, there will always be someone who is on his level. Wick and Cassian's first brawl features some great stunt work with the car and falling down the stairs, and of course my favorite, the use of no music. I love that you get to hear each blow as they struggle to kill each other. Okay, John versus Cassian. I'm gonna go A tier again. I just love a good fight scene with no music in it. It just always hits every time. It just adds to that intensity, you know? I honestly like this montage style editing for this fight scene, and it's thanks to this fight that we get to see the legendary pencil kill. And seeing Wick use his suit as a shield was so goddamn cool. Okay, the montage fight with the assassins, I'm gonna go with, I'm kind of feeling S with this one, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with S because we get the iconic pencil scene in that, so we gotta give it S for that. Come on. It is so crazy that John Wick was able to fight off Cassian while bleeding from his stomach. Obviously, the highlight of this fight is when they're firing their silenced pistols at each other while walking in the subway. It almost feels like they're having a quiet argument with each other while everyone else doesn't notice. And when they get on the train, I love the build-up as they get closer and closer to each other as more people exit the train. Alright, the fight scene, the second fight between John and Cassian. Where is it? There it is. Okay. I might go. I might go B tier with this one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with B tier because when they first encounter each other by the water fountain, and when they start shooting each other between the water fountain and the subway station, like, it's a cool scene, but I can't help but think, how did no one get hit by that? I mean, they're just that good, I guess. And it's just definitely a fun scene. I like that scene a lot. And the knife fight is good, but overall I don't think it's like better than the first time they fought, but it's almost there. It's almost there, but it's still not a bad fight. I still like it a lot. Another iconic fight scene from the John Wick franchise. This whole shootout is just headshots galore, and I absolutely love the music in this scene. This is easily the best fight scene in the film. Now for the museum fight. I mean, this one should be obvious already. That is an instant S. Headshots for days. I mean, come on, you can't put that below an S or an A. I mean, A has to be like the least, at least an A. I mean, there's no way. A John Wick fight scene in a mirror maze was definitely a genius idea made by the team behind the movie. It serves as a final battle better than the one in chapter 1, that's for sure. Okay, for the mirror maze, I'm gonna go with B. While I like the setting for this last fight in the movie, compared to the rest of the fights in the movie, I guess like it's not as intense, but it's still a good fight. So, but I'm still gonna leave it at B tier because it's still a cool scene. But yeah, that is all the chapter 2 fights, and now we move on to chapter 3. This fight is short and brutal, and I love it. Hearing the bones crack of Wick's opponent, especially when he shoved that book into his jaw, was music to my ears. And speaking of the book, this scene reiterates the fact that anything could be a weapon in Wick's hands. Okay, for the library fight, I'm gonna put this in, that's going in A because it is such a brutal fight, and that is like one of the fights I love to rewatch all the time. So even though it's short, it's short and it's beautiful. So damn, what a good fight. Not only is this my favorite John Wick fight scene ever, this is also my favorite fight scene of all time. This fight just has the perfect balance of Wick getting his ass kicked and him kicking ass at the same time. The use of no music and the sounds of every punch and knife being thrown, along with the martial arts being shown, just screams perfection. I'm so glad I saw this movie in theaters because hearing everyone's reactions to this fight made for a great experience. Antique shop fight, that's an easy S. That's an easy S. There is like no debate for me. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put that all the way up the front just because I love that fight so much. That's like the #1 fight I rewatch all the time when it comes to the John Wick movies. So yeah, that is an easy S for me. I think we can all agree that John Wick on a horse is straight up badass. And that horse kill? Man, that was some good stuff. It just goes back to what I said about the library fight. Anything in John Wick's hands is a weapon. The whole horse sequence is definitely getting an A tier. I mean, like I said about the library fight, it is so brutal, especially from that one kill that John does with the horse. Oh man, and that stunt that he does on the horse while being chased, that is some really good stuff. So chapter 3 was cooking with these fight scenes. Another short fight that I don't have much to say about, just John piecing up 3 guys while absolutely shattering one of their arms. Okay, this fight, I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's just like, it's pretty short. So I mean, I'm gonna go with D because not much happens, but I would have liked to see John Wick kill those guys, but It's okay. This is the first fight in the franchise where Wick isn't fighting alone throughout the battle, with killer dogs too. This is a pretty good shootout scene. I like the moment when John has a standoff with two goons. For this fight, I'm gonna go with B tier. It's a cool shootout, I mean, I like it, and I remember seeing that scene in the trailer, and it's just like got me pretty excited to see John Wick fighting alongside dogs. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty good fight scene. We've seen John Wick in a muscle car, on a horse, and now a motorcycle. This is definitely one of my favorite Wick fights ever. I love the shot of the samurai whipping out their swords as they approach John, and how it's followed by a one shot of John taking them out. It's really good stuff. The motorcycle chase is definitely a favorite of mine, so I'm gonna put that in A tier. That is, I love the unbroken shot once again, and yeah, it is just so cool to rewatch over and over again. This is when shit got real for John Wick. He had never dealt with soldiers like these, fully loaded and fully armored. You can feel the desperation to survive as John keeps shooting at these enemies who just won't stay down. The first part of the Continental fight scene is definitely another favorite of mine because I love, like, you can feel how intense it gets for John. Like, he's like, I feel like you can feel him low-key panicking as he's fighting other guys with like bulletproof suits on. So he's like, oh shit, I gotta get the hell out of here. So he's like, you could feel that he's like desperately fighting to like get the hell out of there and like find more weapons to help him fight these soldiers. So yeah, it's definitely a favorite of mine, and yeah, overall, really good fight scene. The shotgun fight is just as good as the rifle fight. I just don't know why John had to empty his shotgun ammo on that one last dude, and his Glock ammo on the dude in the hot tub. Also, I love the detail they did with the bullets in the water. Okay, the second part of the Continental fight scene with the shotgun, that is another A tier for me. It's like two halves of the same coin. It's just two badass fight scenes taking place in that building. I mean, I guess the glass room is also part of the Continental fight, but you know what I mean. This whole section was definitely a step up from the mirror maze in chapter 2. I absolutely love the unbroken shot of Wick getting kicked through the glass pillars. Great stunt work there. And I love the silence too, so that you can feel like you're also creeping around with John, trying to find his targets. The first part of the glass house fight, I'm gonna put that in A tier. Like I said, I love that stunt work with the glass pillars, and yeah, this is really great stuff. This 2v1 fight is really great. It's intense and fast paced, making you feel the exhaustion that Wick is going through, especially at that slam at the end. Part 2 of the glass fight, it's gonna go in A tier again. I mean, chapter 3 has a lot of banger fight scenes, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think anything is gonna go in B tier. While I don't think this is better than the glass house fight previously, it's still a good fight. I love that at the end of the fight, Zero still thinks he'll have a chance at getting John, and he just responds with, "No, you won't." What a badass. Okay, Zero versus Wick. I'm kind of feeling... Actually, I don't know. I'm between A and B right now. I'm gonna go with B tier. Yeah, it's not a bad fight, but compared to the rest of the Continental fight, I think the rest of that was better than this final fight. But again, not a bad fight, I still enjoyed it. But that is all for chapter 3, and now we move on to chapter 4, my favorite action movie of all time. Another chase sequence that opens up the movie. And I love the way the scene opens up, with the sun rising and seeing the silhouettes of John Wick and his targets riding their horses. Okay, the opening fight scene, I mean, it's just a chase, and once again, it's cool to see John Wick on a horse, but I'm gonna go with D tier, because it's not really a fight, he's just chasing people down. Once again, we see John Wick versus the High Table as he fights alongside the Osaka Continental to help defend the hotel. I like that these soldiers not only just point and shoot their rifles, but they also try to throw hands too. And I also like that it's not only the High Table soldiers that Wick is going up against. He also has the soldiers of the Marquis to deal with too. Okay, the first part of the Continental fight scene in John Wick Chapter 4 with John Wick and Akira, I'm gonna put that in B tier. Simply because John Wick isn't in a lot of the fight scenes in that. It's mainly just to show Akira and see how she does, and she kicks a lot of ass in that scene. But again, this is a John Wick tier list, so this isn't about her, this is about Wick mainly. So just for that, I'm just gonna put this in B tier, because he does kick ass too, but he doesn't like have a lot of like room to shine in that scene, which is completely fine. But yeah, I'm just gonna put it in B tier. Still a good fight. This fight kicks so much ass. The whole thing feels like a video game stage fight. When John Wick defeats a couple of enemies, more show up, and so on. And plus, he used freaking nunchucks. Keanu's training really popped off in this whole fight. Now the nunchuck fight scene, that is just absolute peak, and that is going straight in S tier. I feel like this is the fight scene where Keanu Reeves really gets to show off his training, and it pays off so well in this entire fight. If the whole nunchuck fight sequence were video game stages, then this fight was a boss fight. The silence works perfectly for this scene since Kane is a blind man, so every sound that John makes can be deadly in this situation. There is also this emotional weight during the fight, with these characters knowing that despite being old friends, they have to try to kill each other, forever being damned in the life they are in. Okay, Keanu Reeves versus Donnie Yen. I am stuck between S and A. Ooh. I'm kind of feeling, I don't know. I'm gonna go with S tier. I love this fight. I love this fight too much. This is probably my favorite like one-on-one fight with in the John Wick movies. Yeah, only thing I kind of wish this fight had was just like a clear winner at the end. I mean, I guess you could say it was Kane because he had John kind of pinned down, but other than that, the whole atmosphere for this fight was just incredible, and yeah, I just love rewatching it. Not only do I think this is close to being the best club fight in the franchise, but I think this is the most visually striking fight in the franchise. The set with the water is so freaking cool, and like Castlevania cooked up their best tracks for this fight yet. Okay, the club scene for chapter 4 is definitely the most visually appealing fight for me. I love the whole like setting of it. But I don't think it'll live up to the Red Circle fight. The Red Circle fight is just too iconic, so for that reason I'm gonna put it in A tier. And I do think like Castlevania cooks up better music in this fight, probably like the best club music they did for any of the John Wick movies. But overall, the fight itself, it won't. Nothing will live up to the Red Circle fight in my opinion. That would be the best club fight out of all the movies. I just remembered I forgot to add the short shootout scene that John Wick has before he meets the tracker. So I'm gonna put that in B, because honestly I love the way he just takes that guy down. So yeah, B tier. Even though it's super short, I really don't care. It's a pretty cool kill. I love the build up for this fight. With the assassins surrounding John Wick as painted black plays in the background, it just gets me hyped every time. This whole fight is the beginning of everything being thrown at John Wick, and it only gets crazier from there. The car fight leading up to the Arc de Triomphe gets me hyped every time I watch it, just from the music itself, because oh man, and just seeing everyone just go after John Wick, it's like, oh man, the way he's getting like cornered and all that, and then he's just maneuvers in the car, it just gets me excited every time. So I'm gonna put that in A tier. This whole sequence had me geeked in the theater. The shot of John Wick drifting around the assassins while shooting with one hand in a circle, while already being in a bigger circle, was by far the best car stunt that Keanu has done in this franchise. Bar none. But that quick segment was nothing compared to the rest of the fight. You thought John Wick having no car would stop him? Think again. John running around the Arc de Triomphe while avoiding cars and throwing assassins into cars was such a joy to watch. And the song Hate or Glory playing in the background just makes the whole fight much more exciting and intense. The Arc de Triomphe scene, that is, to me, is peak John Wick. That is going in S tier immediately. It just gets me geeked every time while watching it. From the drifting and the stunt work, it is incredible. So yeah, that is an instant S tier for me. This has got to be one of the best one-shot and shootout sequences in the history of movies. The fight before the one-shot sequence is already good enough, with the tracker getting to have more action scenes with his dog. But once we get to the Dragon's Breath shotgun, it feels like it's right out of a video game. The setup for the whole shootout is a masterclass in action cinema. This whole shootout, again, peak John Wick. Honestly, the whole Paris sequence is peak John Wick. I mean, this is S tier. Instant S tier. Hold on. Let me just move myself down here. What was I saying? S tier. Instant S tier. No, like, there's no argument. No argument about it. That is S tier. You know it. I know it. Let's continue. This is the first time that John fights the tracker. And even though it's kind of short, we do get this nice moment of John saving Mr. Nobody's dog. Okay, John Wick versus tracker. I'm feeling B tier. I'm feeling B tier for it. I mean, yeah, I did make it separate from the Dragon Breath shotgun round. I really like that scene ends with John saving a dog and that really cool window stunt scene, even though many will say it's ridiculous, but I don't really care. I mean, they were just going all out for this entire Paris sequence, so they said, why not, right? So yeah, I enjoyed it a shit ton. And yeah, this fight is probably my favorite from the whole movie. Seeing John Wick just solo the whole squad of assassins after fighting through hell is just incredible. You can feel his exhaustion and determination as he quickly rises to the top. Surely nothing will go wrong, right? The stair sequence. Oh man, do I have to say it again? Peak John Wick. Oh man. Out of the entire like Paris sequence, the stair sequence is probably my favorite. And again, that's going in S tier. No, like, I don't know what you expect from me. Like, Chapter 4 is my favorite action movie of all time. The fight scenes cooked. So yeah, I mean, the stair sequence is probably my second favorite John Wick fight scene of all time, like right behind the antique shop sequence. So yeah, great job to the entire crew. The second half of the stair shootout features both Kane and the Tracker coming to John Wick's aid, and even though I don't think it's better than the first half of the fight with just John, it's still very enjoyable to watch. Okay, the second part of the stair sequence that has John Wick and Kane versus the rest of the Paris goons, I'm gonna put that in A tier. It's a good fight, but I just don't think it lives up to the first half of the stair sequence, like right before John Wick takes that tumble down in another great stunt sequence. And yeah, I just think the first half of the stair fight is just like way better than the second half. But once again, like, not a bad fight at all. So yeah, that is all the Chapter 4 fight scenes ranked, and now it's time to move on to the final movie, Ballerina. Moving on to the Ballerina spin-off, we have Wick versus Eve. I'm glad this movie didn't find some way to have Eve, who was pretty much a rookie, defeat John Wick somehow, because Wick has way more experience than her, so it would make sense that he would easily beat her, and he could have killed her not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4. It's nice that John did what Marcus did for him in Chapter 1 though. Okay, John Wick versus Eve, I'm gonna put this in B tier. I think it's a pretty good fight, and like I said before, it makes sense that John would like beat her because he has more experience than her, and it's almost kind of funny to watch that, the way he's just throwing her around. It's almost kind of funny to me. But yeah, not a bad fight. B tier. From an editing standpoint, I think this is probably one of the weakest Wick fights I've seen, but I don't think it's bad. I like that little part when 2 assassins bicker over whether or not they should even fight John Wick, and I do like that camera tilt at the end. Okay, the final fight that we are ranking is the Wick fight, where he fights all the Hallstatt. I think I said that right. The Hallstatt. I hope I said that right, but when he's fighting all those soldiers in Ballerina, and I'm pretty conflicted about this fight because I don't know. I mean, some of the editing kind of throws me off in that fight. So, but I don't think it's like bad per se. I'm gonna go with D tier for this one. That was hard to decide between C tier and D tier. I mean, compared to the rest of the fights in the franchise, it does not live up to any of them in my opinion, but I don't think it's a terrible fight. I mean, I think it could have been better, but yeah, that's just my opinion. But yeah, everyone, this is it. This is my final ranking of every John Wick fight scene in the franchise. Let me know in the comments if I've missed any fight scenes, because maybe then I'll come back to this. But if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I hope all of you Wick fans or tier list fans enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and why not comment on what you thought about my ranking. And if you have any tier list ideas you want me to do, why not comment those below too, and I'll check them out. But once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all are doing well, and I will see you in the next video. Later!